Well, dating can be exhausting. It's loaded with uncertainty, anxiety, hectic schedules, etc., which make meeting your mate feel complicated. Now, the good news is it doesn't have to be anymore because Facebook dating makes it easier to find love through what you like. And matchmaker and dating expert Devin Simone is here with how it works. Devin, good morning to you.
Good morning. How are you?
Doing well, thank you. So dating has changed a whole lot with the advent of the internet, of course, and different apps. How have you seen it change as a matchmaker?
You know, as a matchmaker, I've really seen it change probably in two major ways. So one, we're now more connected than ever, right? We have access to people, whether it be in different cities or countries even, that we wouldn't have been able to connect with before. And then two, people are pickier. We're more selective than ever before. No longer is it just, hey, is that person hot in the bar? It's also, what do they like to do? What are their hobbies and interests and all of that we're taking into consideration as well.
Yeah, and there's a lot of different types of apps available. So how can someone choose the one that's actually right for them in their situation?
So different apps do cater to different demographics, so you definitely want to keep that in mind. And don't get burnout. So just if you're tired of swiping or you have swipe fatigue with one app, it doesn't mean that all apps are bad for you. And conversely, if one app really worked for a friend and isn't working for you, don't get down on yourself as well. Look for an app that incorporates as many features as possible. So we're talking, you want one that of course has photos, but one that has a little bit of information about the person. You want one that requires them to put in a little bit of information. And then one that talks about like their hobbies and interests is really great too, because now it's more organic. It's like real life. You can actually see people that enjoy the same things as you, rather than just shooting a shot in the dark, you know, hoping that you're going to have a connection.
Right, and I mean, you can make that match online, but then how do you actually secure a real date? Because that can be hard sometimes to make that transition, right?
You're absolutely right. So it can be super hard to make that transition, which is one thing I personally love about Facebook dating. So they've made it as easy as it can be, right? So imagine on your Facebook dating profile, you'll have, again, those hobbies and interests, whether you're really into cooking or maybe there's a music festival you want to go to or a jazz concert. You'll be able to have those and highlight those on your profile. So if you see someone else is interested in something similar, then as you're going back and forth and you're having a conversation about the things you enjoy and how's the day, how's the weather, then you could say, oh, I see that you really, you know, that you're going to this jazz festival. When was the last time you went to one? And if someone asks you that, instead of answering their question directly, you can say, oh, I'd love to tell you about the last time I went to a jazz festival. Why don't we do it over coffee sometime? Now, if you're not ready to meet them in person yet, you can do that same rule, but use it and say, oh, I'd love to tell you more about that. How about we do it on a phone call sometime? So that way you're keeping the momentum going and moving from being online to offline.
It's so much more, you know, complex and involved than just swiping. I mean, complex, I say complex, but in a good way. You get to know them a little bit better and take those steps rather than just jumping in to say, let's go have drinks. So, Devin Simone, there's a whole lot to talk about when it comes to Facebook dating. People have to check it out on the app. Thanks so much for joining me.
And thank you so much for having me.
All right.